welcome to the replay of the Round 6 MCG clash between Hawthorn and Richmond. The Hawks, with their big gun forward line led by Lance Franklin, the leading goal scorer so far this season with 29 goals, and his able assistant Jared Roughhead up forward to aim for one of the best teams in the competition, up against the new improved Richmond Football Club with a couple of wins so far this season, and with Matthew Richardson in form, playing upfield, ducking back to full forward and kicking goals, and Nathan Brown also to aim for. They can give the Hawks a run for their money. Let's go to the action. And we are underway. Campbell and Simmons in the ruck. Campbell palmed it down, stolen by Foley. Quick clearance to half forward, Nathan Brown.
Susan Richo is on the burst.
Oh, he's still free.
Nathan Brown's seen him now, and he's got it.
Jeez, he's an athlete. We talk about Buddy Franklin and his speed. When Richo winds up, he'd get a Guernsey in our 4x100 if we take the team.
Oh, that was unbelievable, Jared. He started on the wing. Soon as Richmond won the ball, and rightly so, if you're on the wing, push forward hard. Jordan Lewis spectated the ball and allowed Richo to run into space.
Started with Foley. They'll have to watch that, the Hawks.
From the wing, Matthew Richardson comes to line up for his first. He nails it. No, just missed. And that could be the tale of Matthew Richardson's night. Quite often that first kick of goal tells you what we're going to get. So close.
Sirioli has been matched up by Jordan McMahon. It's a job that the attacking McMahon has to be very defensive with.
Osborne kicks toward Lewis, Richardson's man, who's there with him. Schultz, ball dances on the line, and Schultz then picks up and dances with it. Handball misses Jordan McMahon. Sewell to his own advantage. McMahon pushes him out of play.
I think we're going to have a great match-up in the midfield here, Jared. It looks like Nathan Foley and Luke Hodge are going head-to-head.
Newman, Morton, Patterson tambling on the bench. Chris Newman, a surprise to most, starting on the pine. Hodge, 60 out, centering kick, Roughhead the target. McGuan with him, Roughhead spoils to his own advantage. And
you miss it?
He has. Well, there's confusion. He thinks he's missed it. I don't think the goal umpire saw it.
I don't think so. Well, Roughhead's manning the mark. He assumed he's missed it.
Well, Roughhead should have celebrated because the goal umpire's got no idea.
Wayne, you called it. Jared Roughhead ran back to the mark. So if you had to celebrate, we watch here.
Good tackle from McGuan.
Yeah, just pushed him under the pump. Good decision.
And well done to the goal umpire.
Uh-oh, Roughhead. He's missed this one too.
Giving that goal umpire a horrid time early in the piece just to make good decisions. Well played. They cop it when they get it wrong. They should get a rap when they get those tough ones right.
And fair enough too.
Do you ever give a goal umpire a rap, Spud?
Now and again, Jared, when they deserve it. Which is very rare.
I think that's Adam Wojcik down there as well in the goals for the game today. Foley. McMahon, danger. Bateman cut it off, knocked it down. Ball back, alive again.
Defensive pressure in forward lines. They've been a trade to Hawthorn all year.
Hodge handball finds Franklin, hands to Williams, gives to Crawford through traffic, out to Bateman, weaving it around.
Good vision.
Bouncing ball, Osborne, made it look good. Tackled, Hodge, Lewis.
Having some possession.
Everybody getting a touch of the ball. Hodge is within range from 50. He loads up. He heads long. He misses.
Well, it's going to be a great matchup. Luke Hodge and Nathan Foley. Both prime movers for their respective teams.
Jordan McMahon.
There, Mark, stay there.
Will Thurstfield. Back pocket.
Thurstfield has picked up Williams. Roughhead's got McGuan. McMahon
That's it, just stay there,
is with Riolman.
Stay there.
Kelvin Moore
Stay on if you want.
to Jake King.
Stay on.
Takes off, back pocket, around Williams. Takes him on, nearly caught. Weaves his way through well in the end. Foley. Hands it up, dangerous. Tark might have turned it over. Back to King. He's spent, but he gets one high.
And the Hawks know that that's the area that they can unsettle the Tigers. It's that midfield defensive pressure. They got all the numbers there, but the tackle brought it apart.
And the Hawthorn are ranked number 2 in tackles, Jared.
Turnover again.
There we go, Cyril.
Mitchell got it from Osborne, gives it to Hodge. Here's Cyril. Hands off to Lance Franklin. Look out, goal umpire. They get the first. And Lance has it.
Well, it's one thing to attack, and we talk about the Richmond defenders here through McMahon and King. McMahon's direct opponent is Cyril Rioli, and we see the hands here of Mitchell. As soon as Hodge got the ball, you could just see Cyril Rioli. You called it, Jared, nice and early. But Jordan McMahon, he ran up the ground, then spectated, had to work hard to get back.
What I love, though, was Cyril had such awareness. He knew Franklin was there. He didn't even have the ball in his hands. He knew he was there, whether it was by listening to the Franklin call or just by peripheral vision. And that ball was out of Cyril's hands, thinking only of the team result, almost before he got it in there. Well played.
Maybe the first of many for Lance Franklin. That's his 30th for the year. Daniel Bradshaw joined him on 29 today in the race for the Coleman. Franklin back in front by one. Free kick. Richmond's way.
Richo starting on the southern side wing of the ground, and he is pushing hard to the other side of the ground to get involved.
Foley's kick cut off by Cyril Rioli. Got back, got a hand on it. And Cyril knocks it out towards Guerra. Ladson, Rioli. Play on advantage. Hodge.
And this would be Richo's man. Osborne, it's his 5th possession.
And Osborne gives it to Rioli. Hands it up in the Campbell and Crawford direction. They work together.
Franklin.
He calls for a back. Franklin doesn't get it. Now he does. Lewis in his direction. Cutting it off. Richardson.
Great work. Well, it was great work from Richo, Jared. You called it. His direct opponent getting the ball in the midfield. It's imperative that Richo is going to play behind the ball. He has to have an impact, and he did that then.
King short. Jim McGuan had to work for it. Birchall overcommitted. Nathan Brown. Hands on it, gathers the crumb.
We've got to get this ball across the other side of the ground because that's where their numbers are.
Hyde can't do exactly that. He can't hide. Gives it off to Simmons. Hand to Nathan Brown, little fumble. Hyde again, hunted. Brought down by Bateman.
Those two boys are left footers, Dwayne, so they're trying to get onto their left leg.
Oh, that's almost a throw from Kane Johnson. Got it back again in the 1-2 from Tuck. Nathan Brown.
That's the side they had to get it to.
To Ledio.
They got the numbers there.
Leeds come. Left, right and centre. Wide ball. Good fist from Campbell Brown. Bumped it down to Gillum.
Just
back to Brown. Caught by Edwards. Osborne, another possession. Gillum all the way back to Trent Crowe. First touch for him. And he has Xavier Ellis free. Started on the bench, Xavier Ellis.
Inside's fine there. That's fine.
He heads wide to Rioli. Well, they'll demonstrate with placards out the front of AFL House if he doesn't get an Ab-Rising Star nomination soon, Cyril Rioli.
Play on.
Gives it to Clinton Young, the 50-gamer. Roughhead had to come hard. Thumped it down. Tuck. Richardson. Thursfield. Chips it back. McGuan.
Yeah, thank you, Jared.
He's held up.
We saw Deledio in the passenger play there also. He's starting in the half-forward line, Jared. He's pushed up to help the defence, which means Campbell Brown's free at the other end for Hawthorn.
So Osborne 7 possessions, Rioli 4 possessions, and Richardson about to get possession number 4 himself to Newman, and now Nathan Brown. Leads come for him to pump it inside 50. Goes with the long high kick, hoping for Simmons. Campbell Brown. And 50 for having his jumper grabbed after he took the mark.
Jared, we talked about at the start of the game, you've got to isolate and separate the defence of Hawthorn. You bomb the ball in there, just plays into their hands.
Yeah, it's exactly what you said not to do. If you let Campbell Brown have a free jump, you're in major trouble. You've got to make him accountable by his man picking up the ball out wide.
Guerra. Young. Looks up. Franklin's direction. Short is Lewis.
Well, it's just the ball movement. You can see that the Tigers are labouring through the half-back line with the overuse of the handball. They're going backwards, sideways, grabbing like. And yet when the Hawks get the footy, they're getting the ball by foot much quicker into that dangerous area.
Turned 23 years of age this week, Jordan Lewis. Missed 3 of the first 6 games this year with 2 separate suspensions. And he misses to the near side.
See Bateman coming on off the ground. I wonder where Rowan Smith, has he gone on the bench to lose the tag of Chrissy Hyde.
Yeah, he just tried to come to the bench then, and he's just run back onto the ground, and Chris Hyde standing up, and he's wanting to get back on the ground, straight back onto him. Spud.
Norton. Started on the bench, Mitch Morton. Brother Jared, emergency for Hawthorn today. Jared Morton didn't get a game. It's the third time it's been emergency for the Hawks this year. Still yet to make his debut. Now Thursfield. Dangerous to King.
In trouble.
Takes on Rioli and gets away with it. Has a bounce.
That's dropping the ball.
Well, did he get tackled?
I thought he had the jumper when he bounced the ball, Dwayne.
Gee.
Thought he was in a little bit of trouble. He got through the one tackle. We'll have a look at the replay.
Well, that one was almost too high, but that wasn't the one.
No, that was the after. Here we go. We've got Williams. Hold of the jumper.
Oh, you can't pay that.
Was there a fingertip?
No.
Yeah, play on. No, you're right, Dwayne.
He released.
He did.
Did he have it when, in fact, he threw it down, though, Spud? We'll have to go to the third umpire.
Well,
was there a fingernail on the jumper, Jared, when the ball hit the ground?
Well, that means you can't bounce if you've got contact with somebody, if they're bumping you and you bounce. Williams nails the goal.
Well, it started from Cyril Rioli, though, Jared, and that was a great little bit of pressure. We see a little bit of byplay there. We're a little bit unfortunate there, Jake King. We'll just have a look from a different angle. Okay, the jumper. Well, he had the jumper when he released the ball, but actually when the ball hit the ground, Williams' hand comes off his jumper, so...
Wasn't enough. Wasn't enough.
Wasn't enough,
Play
you're
on.
right. Play
Not in the spirit of the game.
No.
Play on, let's get on with it.
Correct weight, Dwayne.
And he has had some misfortune on this ground,
Yes.
Jake King, in recent times. His football's Johnny Knoxville. He is the wild boy of the game, and hopefully he gets better luck from now on. From the ball up, Hodge, Mitchell. They're firing early. Roughhead gets there and takes a spectacular mark.
Well, he needs to go back and kick this now, because if he had to play it on quickly, he had Osborne and Franklin free. So it was a super grab, just too strong.
That's what he has in front of him. Every good superhero needs a faithful sidekick. The Lone Ranger's got one, and now Tonto's got one.
It's a great duo. We talked about before the game, Jared, having the two power forwards, the get-out kick, and Franklin is the obvious target. When Roughhead starts to grab a couple, all of a sudden the defence is at sea. Do they go and double-team Franklin, or do they play man-on-man football? Super important to their setup,
I just
Jared
reckon,
Roughhead.
Spud, I know we've had this discussion before, but surely he set himself up for failure there by playing in front. And I know that goes against what a lot of coaches teach, but you've got to be behind so you can't get nudged out.
Especially with the high ball, Jared, and when you're giving away body weight, such as McGuan is, and I totally agree with you there. He has to play hip on hip, just behind, spoil the ball and run and defend it.
Tucked through the hands of King in the end.
Richo
Out
released.
wide to Deledio, and here he is, Richo.
That's it, Bunch!
Simmons pushing forward.
And gives the kind of pass that he hated when he was playing as a forward. Sewell chips it. Bateman with one hand. Open forward line. Franklin calls for it long to the pocket. Bateman holds it up. Chips it to Rioli.
Well, they've just got to get into Rioli's immediate area, because McMahon is just floating off him and he's creating too much damage.
Franklin told Shane Crawford to nick off, and he took the mark on 50. 22 plays won. Already some danger signs for the Tigers. The undefeated Hawks. 5 wins on the trot, looking for number 6. It takes top spot back on the ladder. It swings, but not enough. Only behind to Lance. Simmons having a rest.
Well, it's been a powerful demonstration so far in the match by the Hawks. Tigers haven't looked likely. They've had one genuine crack at goal from Richo, and the rest have just been, I guess it's just showing just how far behind the Hawks they are. Maybe they'll change shortly.
Richo pushed out with a hand in the back.
Well, just on the stats, Hawthorn have had 8 shots on goal to 1, Jared, yet Hawthorn have only had 1 more disposal.
Jordan McMahon. Kelvin Moore. Jake King was waiting for it. Franklin hunts him down. McMahon sends it long. Good fly to Lidio. Hands for good. Newman. Morton. Within range. Could have played on. Elected not to. Not a bad idea. Go back and kick the goal they so much need.
Well, that was a good build-up. They forced Campbell Brown to defend, and you've got to hit those targets. Perfect football, but you've got to honour the lead of the half-forward line.
Isn't a secret, though, Spud, getting the ball out of your defensive area as quickly as possible. They did that by hitting up targets by foot, not trying to squeeze through the Hawthorn midfield zone.
Been a good pick-up for the Tigers, Mitch Morton. 5 goals for this season. It's bending. It's edged through. The Tigers have their first.
Well, they desperately needed that goal, the Tigers. They've had 6 more disposals than Hawthorn, and they need to take the game on more. I agree with you, Jared. Instead of squaring up the ball in a defensive 50, it just gives Hawthorn a lot of opportunities to get numbers back to double team their forwards. Need to just play on after a markable free kick, wheel and go.
Well done by Brett Delidio. It was his efforts there that essentially set it up. Won the contested footy in front of the pack. Moved it on, hit a target.
Played 15 minutes, opening term. The restart. Sewell, slick. Lewis, long. Roughhead got there for the spoil, thumped it down to Foley. Johnson, McMahon, play on advantage. Patterson, and now Richardson. Too far out to score. 70 from goal, pokes the pass, and almost the mark. Pollack not paid it. Hyde collects. Gives to Edwards, missed the target with the handball. Ellis runs into trouble. Crawford out of trouble. Campbell Brown tried to steal it. Pollack stole it back. Gave to Nathan Brown. They worked hard, and they deserved it.
Well, that's a good reply also from Richmond. Back-to-back goals. Matty Richardson had an impact again. The kick wasn't great, but have a look at this marking effort here. Crowd, oh, great contest. Pollack's on the ground there, so that's a great recovery from him. We'll just see another angle. Oh, gee. Great body spoiling there. Good pressure there from Richmond, though. Terry Wallace will be wrapped with that. Their pressure over the last 2 weeks has been super in their forward 50.
I think just looking at the numbers, as we have a look at one of the better matchups and challenges of the game, the numbers tell the story. The Tigers early in the piece have had 43 of their 66 possessions in the back half. So when they were squandering the ball and just overusing it, they were going nowhere. Now they've gone more direct and kicked 2 quick ones.
Tambling with the 1-2. Kick not so good. Margin cut back to 10 points. Hyde slips it out. Foley. You heard the call of play on. No free for Johnson. Tambling left it behind. Ladson stole it back. Open forward line. Williams looks up. Franklin calls long. Oh, he's going to swallow this, Lance Franklin.
Too strong there. When the ball comes in like that, there's not a lot Cal Moore can do. Cal waiting for hands in the back there, but I think it was just a great use of body of Lance Franklin.
Thanks, Jordan.
Too strong in that situation there.
Hey, I can only play what I see,
It's not
Jordan.
about Lance. It was about a fumble on centre wing that set this up.
Lance Franklin kicks across the face. 1 goal, 2.
When you're trying to bat above your division, you've just got to make everything clean. Now, there was a ball on centre wing right there, and that one set it up. Tambling fumbled. Osborne took it forward. They should have kicked a goal. They got let off the hook.
Big pack flies for the kick in. Foley, almost a throw. Delidio threads it out back to Foley. Richardson. It'll be a free kick downfield after the handball. Richardson's free.
A worrying sign for Richmond at the moment, Jared. They've had 10 inside 50s Hawthorn, and they've had 9 shots on goal.
Yeah.
So just about every time it's going in, they're getting a score.
Thumps it long. And poorly. Campbell. So it's one thing to play Richo on the wing. He has to be effective, and after all, it was his man Brian Lake who took the match-winning mark last week for the Bulldogs. Bateman from the wing. Here he is again, Rioli. Left it behind, though. Hassled by Jordan McMahon.
I think that's where McMahon has to be. He has to respect that this is an extraordinary young talent, Sirioli. And whilst part of his role is to attack, he's got to get control of Rioli first. Look, he's giving you 3 metres there. 2 metres is too much for Sirioli.
And he'll get this one from Crawford.
Too much.
Ladson. Lewis. Crowd. Coming at him. Tambling's got him. Got the kick away and it rolls to McGlynn. Back into the team this week for his first game of the year. Handball to Hodge. Handball to Ellis. No one in the goal square for the Hawks. Not 15, surely. It is. Young takes the mark.
It was super pressure from Richmond around the middle of the ground there, but they've just got to keep at it because Hawthorn is so good and so strong in the tackle. They're still being able to release the ball by hand. Even though the initial tackle puts Hawthorn under pressure, they've just got that ability to keep supporting each other.
Well, Cyril's coming off the ground, and I reckon next time he goes on, Jake King would be a better matchup for him.
Clinton Young has had a few aspersions cast on his goal kicking. He slots that with ease.
Playing his 50th game, started on the bench, and it was quite interesting to note when he went onto the ground, Chris Newman picked him up, but Jared, you picked it up beautifully here. We see Cyril Rioli just on the left of screen, McMahon trailing Rioli. That's not good enough. If you're going to play in the defence in that area of the ground, you've got to defend. Total accountability, hip on hip, force Rioli to do something special. Don't just allow him to get an easy disposal there. The resultant goal of Young, yes, it was a good effort there from Clinton Young, but it started from Jordan McMahon.
Been another good pick-up, Clinton Young. Much said about Hawthorn's clever use of first-round picks, but Clinton Young's a rookie elevation. Campbell, perfect palm down. Mitchell, low trajectory. Franklin and Roughhead,
well
plucked by McGuan. Attacked it and got it.
Polak's gone up to the wing. Was that Patterson?
That's Patterson.
And Richo looks like he's gone to the goal square.
Crowd's got Richo.
McMahon, Foley, Tark, almost a turnover. Kane Johnson, let it go. Mitchell dives in, it's in there somewhere. And the umpire will have to ball it up. 30 plays 13. And we've ticked into time on opening term. Twilight footy at the MCG. Good crowd in. Two local teams head to head. And Foley thumps it high to half forward. Revolt with the big leap. Johnson with the crumb. Gets range on the kick and kicks the captain's goal.
Super goal there from Kane Johnson. He's had a very good year. He's led the way in and under. He's hard, and his ball kicking ability has never been questioned. It was a great snap on goal around the right side of his body. Really let the Richmond midfielders in that possession there. Brown went up with a double fist, but the ball had to be forced forward. As soon as it went over the back of the pack, it really allowed the Richmond midfielders to run onto the ball.
They have made that change. Polak is on the wing at the moment. Richo's deep in the goal square, just having a bit of a rest. He's worked pretty hard. Patterson now, big job in the middle.
Free kick in the middle. Out of the ruck, didn't get rid of it, Campbell. Free kick, the Tigers on the way back here. Patterson. They peel for him. Schultz. Spears the pass to Morton. Gets there. Too far out to score and knows it. Tuck. Backtracks outside 50. Shane Tuck. Brother Travis not playing for the Hawks today. That's what he has in front of him. Gee, that's a spear off the boot, and it gets there.
Great kick. Well, Terry Wallace will be wrapped with that. His two midfielders, Kane Johnson and Tuck, kicking goals. Tuck at this stage pushing forward. Morton has been super early, just leading, hitting the target up, and Tuck running into the hole there. That was a great shot on goal. Rowan Smith, Terry Wallace seems to be throwing them around. Deledio, Polak and Richardson rotating.
Yeah, that's right, Spud. Well, obviously, Richo started on the wing. Polak was at full forward. They've two swapped now, and they're looking to get a little bit of run out of defence. They put Deledio down there. He's opposed to Shane Crawford at the moment.
I reckon this game turned around, though, when Kelvin Moore took that mark, charging out from full back about 3 attacks ago, and since then the Tigers have kicked 2 goals.
Another free out of the middle, although this looked like a centre square infringement from the back half.
In fact, Spud, you've corrected me there. I think it was McGuire.
It was, yeah.
McGuire. They do look alike, though, Jared.
Lurking up forward, but Simmons goes wide to Kane Johnson. Short pass is okay. Matt White.
Brown back onto the ground. Delidio off.
Short, and Simmons.
This is a smart play. Campbell drops back in the hole for Hawthorn, so Simmons is pushing forward to make him accountable.
Can they take the lead here? Kick just too heavy.
It's a good lead. They open up some good space for him.
Crowd ducked into that tackle according to the umpire. And the umpire will be sorting it out for the players with 25 minutes on the clock, opening it term here. 30 plays 25.
But I reckon the fact that Richmond's forward back here says just enough about where they've come from in the last 5 weeks. This side would have crumbled in the opening 2 or 3 weeks, but they've built a little bit of self-confidence and showing a lot more character and belief in each other over the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Campbell and Simmons. Mitchell caught. Too high.
They're starting to win some quality ball in the midfield through Johnson, Foley and Tuck.
Clinton Young takes off. Feeds the handball to Franklin. Slides the kick wide. 2 Tigers there trying to stop Williams. And the ball out of play. Mark Williams, 3rd game for 2008 after playing just the 4 games last year. From the throw-in is a free kick out of the ruck. And it's against Simmons. It's going to Campbell.
He called holding. And Troy is obviously not all that impressed by it.
Campbell to Lewis. He thumps it in the rough head and Franklin direction. Franklin stays down. Read it almost too well. Slipped over. Back to rough head. Dragged down. And no free.
Well, that's a let-off because all the Richmond defenders, we just see here the fumble, the slip, from Lance Franklin. Troy Simmons was arguing he should have been getting back to help the Richmond defence instead of arguing with the umpire.
Oh, McGlynn caught high. Umpire didn't think it was high enough. And it's rushed through for a behind by Jake King.
Last week, Spud, you mentioned it in the pre-match.
Uh-oh.
Oh, good work from Jordan McMahon. But we saw Buddy Franklin sneak out the back. And once again there, he almost delivered a goal by just outsmarting everybody.
Turnover, Matt White to Campbell and messing with it. Mitchell. Handball comes wide from Sewell to Hodge.
It's a battle you can hardly win through the middle there because Hawthorn has so many numbers.
Kane Johnson. His handball missed the target. Burchell. His kick a wobbler. Cut off by Matt White.
Great carry.
Who's seeing nothing but black. He's down.
Yeah, Ben McGlynn. It was just an attempt to spoil. Great courage from White. But all it was a 50, I believe.
He'll have to come off. He can't take this kick. He doesn't know where he is.
Look at the replay.
Ben McGlynn. And Richie Vandenberg's old number 21. First time it's been worn since Richie retired. This is game 1 for the year for Ben McGlynn. Long kick inside 50. Richardson's down there. Campbell Brown claims the mark. Taylor, Burchell, Ellis, Mitchell. Little bauble of the ball. Burchell. And now McGlynn. He gets the booze. Rioli. Good bump on Schultz. Good battle.
Played Rioli.
That's a 360. That's got to be holding the ball.
It's a brilliant tackle.
Lifted his right.
He has one, and it was a great tackle. It was the chicken wing tackle where you grab one of the arms so he is impossible for him to release it legally.
Schultz. Can they level these scores up at quarter time, the Tigers? Matt White explaining that he's okay. McMahon spears the pass, hoping for Morton. He's over it. Put it through his legs. Tuck. Hodge. Caught by Tambling. Crawford. Mitchell. Lewis left it behind. Revolt. He thumps it goalward. 4 Hawks down there. All fly. Richo stays down. He left it behind. He looks up. Picks it up. Dumped by Crawford. Nathan Brown brought down. Magnificent tackle. Ball held up. 21 seconds on the clock.
Great pressure from both teams there. Well called, Wayne. Clinton Young's tackle. We've seen Richo have the fumble here. And it was good pressure from Crawford, but Clinton Young's tackle was a ripper.
Patterson slapped it down, but to Lance Franklin, who's come down to the back pocket to lend a hand. Osborne. No one to go to, only Shorts. Short to Birchall. Now Franklin takes them on and runs. He can play anywhere. Goes wide to Williams. And can he have this shot on the siren? Umpire pushes him around.
It's the end of the quarter. That's it.
Took the mark in time. He's in the gutter.
Well, if there's one player that can kick this goal from this angle, it is number 6 for Hawthorn.
Goes with a torpedo. It wobbles its way back. And did it register a score? No. Kept inside the field of play well by the Tiger defenders. Good first term. Hawthorn started well. Richmond hit back late. 4-7-31. Plays 4-1-25.
The other bloke who's down is one of the stars of the comp so far in Prince Sewell. He's only got the ball 3 occasions.
We're underway in the second term. A toe poke. Fortunate for Hodge. Sewell. Crawford. Roughhead's hands. Superb.
Yeah, Tuck's doing a pretty good job on Sewell. And it just indicates where he has come, where his status is in the game right now.
Kick one in the opening term.
This time Simmons has gone down for you, Spuddy's ready to jump into Buddy Franklin.
So Jared Roughhead lines up for his second. With the only notable goal kicker in the game so far. It swings. It's kept inside the field of play. Newman. Simmons. Ball through the hands of Tuck. Franklin lurking. Tries to thread it out. Jordan McMahon. Schultz. Moore. Johnson.
One of those Richmond defenders then, they all stood on the goal line. One of them had to come in at the flight of the ball to spike it through for a point.
Jake King just in time to Richardson. Loops it over the top. Dangerous ball. Morton got it from Hyde. Hunted down by Guerra.
Did well.
Boundary line, the sanctuary. Is that deliberate? No.
He must dispose of the footy first. Arms are up.
Gets away with it, Mitch Morton. Back into play. Simmons to Nathan Brown. Going nowhere. Mitchell makes sure it doesn't go anywhere. Ball up.
Just on the top of the screen there, we see Chrissy Hyde on Bateman. Terry Wallace has gone to school on that. That's a great matchup. Only Bateman the 3 and Chrissy Newman on Clinton Young. So you're aware that their wingmen have been getting a little bit of the ball.
Just going back to that last shot at goal, it's interesting that the triangle that they've put around Franklin here. One at the back, Moore was at the front, Simmons on his left-hand side, and one of the other key defenders, I think it was Richardson, on his right.
And the ball up to Lidio, threads it out somehow. Kane Johnson to half forward, ball thumped away from Revolt. Ladson. Gillum slung, back to Ladson, caught. Disposed of it legally, according to the umpire. Morton scoops it up to Nathan Brown. No one to go too forward. Came back, but strangely enough came back to Jordan Lewis, who hits Cyril Rioli, who's got Lance Franklin peeling for him. Looks up, doesn't want to go to him straight away. Bateman held up. It suits Richmond.
And Richo's in the space in front of Franklin.
Kick misses Crawford. Jake King. Simmons. Kane Johnson. Tark. Kane Johnson. Jordan McMahon. Now to the 3-man. Hyde, kick smothered. The turnover. Birchall. Franklin calls for it long. Rioli's in the hole. Takes the mark.
Another yard longer, and Cyril would have been in the hole because Richo would have gone right through him.
Roughhead. Bateman got in the way almost. Franklin to his own advantage, but to Kane Johnson's advantage gives away the free. The pile drove him into the ground. Kane Johnson's ball at full back to Moore.
Well, they're putting themselves under pressure the Tigers. There were 2 disposals there, one from Nathan Brown. You just never see him chop the ball up that badly. And then the poor handball from Chris Hyde has just put the Tigers under pressure when they should have been getting it into their forward 50.
Jake King. McGuan.
That's it, Jared, thank you.
It's got Richardson. It's also got Matt White, who is back on and looks okay after that heavy hit. Takes on Rioli. Hands to Hyde. Hand to Richardson. Going the wrong way initially. Matt White. Kane Johnson. Deledio short. Bounce pass. They get away with it. Foley.
Got to get through the middle zone.
Deledio.
Pressure from the Hawks. They've got more numbers there. That's where they set up their attacks.
Osborne to Hodge. Here they go. Bateman's short and free. He can run here. Does run. Dances around Richardson and gets dragged down. Got it away to Ladson. High. Kick and hope. Taylor's down there. And King gets the free. Crowd not happy, but Jake King is. He gets a break.
It was well done from Jake King. I thought Taylor was going to mark the ball. Used his body well. Drew the free kick.
Troy Simmons takes off. Heads long in the revolt direction. Had it but lost it. Dives in, does Guerra. Shoots it up to Gillum. Hit him, but in the end he couldn't collect it. Schultz holds it up. Finds the boundary. We'll get a ball in. Revolt's hurt.
Well, that was fantastic from Brent Guerra there. He was unconditional to the contest. He wanted the ball more. Mind you, he had a full head of steam up. Riewoldt trying to put his head over it, but Guerra just went lower and harder.
Hodge. Lewis. Birchall. Campbell Brown. Shane Crawford, if it sits, is away. He collects it, looks up. Sewell, the target. Finds him. Franklin calls short. He goes longer. Richardson gets back. Big fly. Osborne brought it down. But he wasn't paid. McGuan. King fumbles it across the line.
Richo's playing this role beautifully at the moment. He's trying to double team.
Oh, Hodge! One of the marks of the year. He came from the clouds, body on the line, and took it.
What a super grab. He just took the ball on. Wasn't the best of kicks. He attacks the ball, Luke Hodge. Eyes for the ball.
He tunnelled himself. It was a self-tunnelling.
Wasn't the greatest of kicks to the skipper. Kane Johnson just set him up.
There's the big fly from Osborne. Was this a mark as he controlled it?
Not quite.
Oh, jeez, it was close.
Ablett was paid one in that full forward goal square in a grand final, wasn't he? Held it less. Hodge from 45. Big kick this. Richmond's got a bit of a run at the moment. Hodge misses.
Bit of a let-off. May come back to haunt them a little bit, the Hawks.
Long kick in. Young flies, dumps it down. McGuan dragged across the boundary line. 34, plays 25. Good contest at the moment.
Runner.
Back into play. Plucked out of the air by Tuck. Foley. Campbell. Little Shepherd from Hodge is good. Gave him time. Ellis. Hodge. Young. Centering kick. Perfect. Lewis. Mitchell. Guerra. Richmond getting players back. Long kick. And lurking is McGlynn, but he left it behind. To his own advantage. There's a little rusty in game one. Ben McGlynn tries to rake it free. And the umpire will ball it up.
Well, it was a bad miss. Maybe he's worried about the report, or possible report. It happened only a couple of minutes ago.
Jared, just on that, I definitely went up to the emergency umpire and he's not reported.
Okey-doke.
McGuan, Simmons, Deledio. Rioli dives on it. Shoots it up to Young. Gang tackle, drag down. We'll get a ball up.
Go through. Yep. Thanks, fellas.
Young in game 50. Getting up Shane Edwards.
Play on.
Ball up. Down to Edwards. Close in handball to Tambling. Ducked his head was the call. Moore, King, Deledio up against the boundary line. Tough one for Patterson. Made the commitment.
I think the Tigers will be happy with that one. Couldn't question the Tigers' commitment, Spud. I think it's been a great match. Hawthorn have been playing with that endeavour for some years now under Clarkson, but it's taken a long time for Terry Wallace to extract it out of the Tigers, but he's getting it now.
Simmons palm down to Hodge. Can't break free. We'll get another ball up.
They've turned their game around 2 weeks ago at Subiaco against Fremantle. They just played good one-on-one contested football, and they're building their game around it.
By Shane Stewart. Thumps it into the turf. Perfect bounce. Tuck got a kick away. Young thumped on by Edwards. Morton dumped free. Hawk fans don't like it, but it was there.
We've got Polak in the middle of the ground. It's interesting the way they're using their wingmen. They're essentially Richo or Polak. The bloke that goes down and sits in front of Buddy Franklin.
Tuck thumps it long. Richardson! One hand up, couldn't bring it down. Ladson rolled it to Crode. Threads his way through traffic. Bateman, Guerra. Bounce pass to Osborne.
Well, there'll be loose players everywhere for Hawthorn because Richmond's got 3 unattended in the back half.
Jared Roughhead lending a hand in defence. Campbell. Osborne. Gillum. Franklin takes them on. Outruns them. Thumps a long kick. Oh, he ran too far according to the umpire. He took 8 steps and ran 16 metres.
His steps a little bit longer than ours, those blind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Line ball.
Gee, let the game have its excitement, please. Kane Johnson. Sewell. Up to Hodge. Hand off to Ladson. Chips it wide. Rioli. McGlynn, the only player inside 50. Matt White with him. McGlynn, toe poke, Matt White to steal. Richardson. Good contest at the moment.
We got one straight off the bench here in Newman, but they can't see him.
King, Deledio.
Surely they pick him up.
Newman still screaming. Thursfield finally sees him. Hits him. Simmons calling for it. Big long thump. Morton flies, can't mark, got a hands to it. Osborne. Nathan Brown kicked it off the deck, out of play on the full.
Kane Johnson up against Buddy Franklin. It took Franklin 3 steps to catch him, and he was 5 metres in front of him.
He's a super athlete.
Ellis. Birchall. Young with space to use.
This is the kick. He's got space behind Franklin. That's the only spot.
Chip kick, and King cuts it off. Playing a big role. Jake King.
Well, Matthew Richardson's playing a great role also. Even though he had no impact there, the ball carrier for Clinton Young looked up, saw Matty, and then tried to look for another option.
Thursfield. Ball touched the turf to Ledio. Over the top to Tuck. Jordan McMahon calling for it, just on.
Well played.
Slick hands. White. Kick smothered by Guerra. Intense pressure at the moment.
It was a super smother because up the ground we had Tambling and Morton free for Richmond, so great smother there from Guerra.
Jordan McMahon
just should have gone to the boundary, went inside, lost the ball.
Osborne holding the ball.
He was lucky there, Jordan McMahon.
Deledio.
He's had an interesting game. He's had a stack of the footy. I don't think he's accountable enough at times in defence, but he's been pretty creative with the ball in his hands.
Adam Patterson, Richard Tambling. Good tackle from Taylor. 360, he got away with it. Tuck takes on Sewell. You don't argue too high. Sewell's ball.
Well, that's a square up because Tambling was clearly held with the ball. The umpire, I think,
this is Sewell's 7th disposal here. As you see the fend off, so don't argue. Tuck's had a great game, 15 disposals. This is Sewell's 7th.
Sewell inboard from one back flank to the other. Gillum to the open side. McGlynn calls for it. McMahon hunting him down. McGlynn played on. He took the step. Crawford, he can run. Franklin standing there, calling for it long. Richardson's in front of him. Got hands to it, couldn't mark it. Kilmore dumped by Franklin. Didn't have it. Richardson steals it back. Edwards missed Richardson with the handball back again. Matt White, body on the line. Caught by Rioli. Ball hits the deck. Richardson's back in there. It's held in.
Alistair Clarkson be getting frustrated, Jared, because Matthew Richardson's dropping back into the hole. The Hawthorn midfield have to identify who's free for them, because Richo's getting back double-teaming Franklin. So the Hawthorn midfield just need to lower their eyes or widen their vision and hit up that free Hawthorn player.
Hodge dumped by Thursfield. Played for the free. Umpire didn't fall for it.
Pushed Hodge into the forward line. Will Thursfield's picking him up.
Umpire took a long time to sort it out and gives the holding the ball decision. It's Roughhead's ball. Jake King again.
Gave him every chance. Ball came back to him and then he just lay on it.
Well, Jake King can't believe he was done for holding the ball.
That's it, Jared.
He was framed. Someone spiked his drink bottle and then planted the ball on him. That happens, apparently. Roughhead brings it back. Hits the post.
4 goals, 11, shooting themselves in the foot at the moment. Inside 50s, Hawthorn are going at 23 to Richmond's 12. They've kicked the 4 goals each.
Nathan Brown.
This is a good decision to play Brown as the player to take the ball out from defence, because you've got to have a good decision maker.
McMahon to Hyde. Morton. Got a couple to beat here. Birchall got back. It was a 3-on-1. Taylor. Lewis. Crode. Young. To the open side they come, as they love to do. Bateman. To his own advantage. White had him but lost him.
In great form.
Bateman to Crawford. Chips it. McLean. Richo's coming. Not quickly enough.
Well, Richo's got to get a bit quicker with his decision-making there. He didn't close that space anywhere near quick enough. It's the second time. It would have been a pretty nasty contact if he had gone earlier. But he's entitled to use his big body.
And just Luke McGuire just coming off under the blood rule, boys. It looks a little bit of an eye cut. Looks pretty severe, actually.
You're going to play loose man in defence. You've got to know when to
Just wait for the whistle.
hold them, and you've got to know when to fold them. And right now, Richo's just tending to go back too often, and sometimes he's got to go forward.
Played 17, almost 18 minutes in this second term. And we haven't seen a goal from either side yet. McGlynn to break the deadlock. Cross the face. Big pack went up. Hawthorn free in the goal square. Roughhead's ball.
How do we pick a free kick out of that pack? Obviously, the umpire's in a better position than us.
Roughhead got a rough one. First goal of the term.
Well, no one was disputing this, Brad, so the replay will be interesting, but there was no real demonstration from the Tigers. Let's have a look here. And there you see it from behind. It wasn't much, and that's why it'd be so frustrating for coaches. It had no impact on whether Roughhead was going to get the footy at all. But that's just dumb footy. Giving away an easy goal like that.
Well, it's
just letting
inexcusable.
yourself down.
It's inexcusable in a pack situation like that. You've got to be aware that there's extra numbers around. Basically, all you have to do is defend your direct opponent and kill the ball.
McGuire getting some work done. Luke McGuire off with the blood rule, and Jared Roughhead, his second goal of the evening. Taylor slapped it down. King left it for Nathan Brown. Newman. McMahon back inboard. Thursfield. Schultz.
This kick's important. You just can't load it into the air.
King loads it into the air. Morton he hopes for. Revolt from 4 deep. Campbell Brown.
Generally got too many numbers back to Hawks.
Sewell. Chip kick. Crawford. Can he get there? Bouncing ball. He can't. Out of play. He'll get a ball in.
That kick from Jake King is okay if it's a one-on-one situation. You look up, you've only got your full forward or the full back or the centre forward or centre back, but to kick it to a pack in today's football is just opening up a counter-attack for the opposition.
And he's back, umpire said, as you heard. Jordan Lewis. Tinged into time on now. Second term. Ellis. Gillum. Campbell Brown made the commitment. Pollack couldn't get there for the spoil. Short. Trent Crowe. Richmond getting numbers back. Chip kick good. Taylor was there for a long time. Crawford, little poke. Ladson, as you mentioned, Spud.
Well, he's better because he's Richardson's direct opponent at the moment. We see Matthew Richardson running back, trying to double team Franklin.
Franklin calls for a short. There's a couple of them on, and Osborne, in the end, allowed to run in and take the mark.
The Hawthorn midfield need to identify Ladson now, Jared. Because time and time again they're looking up and they see Richardson, so Ladson has to get into a dangerous position and get used up.
I just think it's interesting looking at how hard both sides are running in this last 5 minutes. The Hawks just look like they've got a little bit on the Tigers as far as how hard they're running.
Been very accurate this year, Michael Osborne. He's kicked 9 goal 2 for the season. That's his first of the night.
Yeah, the accountability just dropped off a little bit there for the last 2 or 3 minutes, and the Hawks have had a couple of relatively easy shots at goal. Look at this, just too far behind Buddy Franklin. You can't be that far off. This bloke gets 3 or 4 metres out. It's just not that hardened accountability that you spoke of before the match, Spud. And I think the fatigue factor has hurt the Tigers a little bit over the last 4 or 5 minutes. Not much, but it doesn't take much when you're playing against a side as damaging as the Hawks.
Margin stretched back to 22 points. In the shadows of half-time. Sun setting on what's been a magnificent Anzac Day round of football. Foley with the clearance to half forward. Morton down there with Ellis. Well played by Ellis. Spoiled down to Birchall. Gillum. Mitchell. Trent Crowe.
Look at this run. The midfield for Hawthorn just have run and set themselves up. Grode, in fact, has ignored one who was Osborne.
And Osborne takes the mark.
In fact, it wasn't Osborne. It was Ladson. It was Ladson.
Crawford. Franklin calls it long. Ladson pokes it, misses the target. Bateman taken by Newman. He thumps it back again. Revolt's got 2 to beat here. He was thrown down. Crawford. Hodge. Young.
Again, we see the attack on the ball from Luke Hodge. Eyes for the ball.
Osborne hurt.
With a friendly fire on his teammate there, Osborne.
He'll be off, Osborne. Young called to play on. Tries to thread the eye of the needle to Ladson. Almost got it. King shoots it up to Newman. Foley.
Had a good game, Foley.
Nathan Brown got the kick away. Tough one to mark. Good punch by Gillum to Birchall. Gillum, oh, he ducked into that perhaps. Good tackle, Morton. Surely needs to be rewarded. Edwards play on to advantage.
Got Jordan McMahon loose and he can go to goal.
Simmons hasn't seen McMahon, now he's seen him. McMahon too far out to score, you'd think. Tambling's in the pocket, needs to hold this. Tambling does! Well, he's the man they drafted ahead of Lance Franklin, Richard Tambling. It's been a weight on his shoulders. Maybe he can shine tonight. Runs around. He is shining.
Good goal there from Richard Tambling. Great hard running. Simmons had the ball. You can see McMahon nice and early. That's impossible to defend that kick. Campbell Brown, not a lot he could do. Just kick the ball to space. Good one-handed mark there. Quite interesting, the duel of Ladson and Richardson, Jared. Ladson's more suited to play in the half-back line. Would you, at half-time, if Alistair Clarkson would just say, right, we'll put Luke Hodge on the wing on Richo, and then we'll get Luke Hodge into an area where he can really hurt Richo on the scoreboard.
Well, it's an interesting thought, Spud. I just think that right now it looks as if Hodge is going head-to-head. There's a re-rolled sandwich with Luke Hodge. Hodge is going head-to-head virtually with Foley. They're both getting plenty of the footy.
Ladson back on after that clash.
Certainly if Hodge gets the ball on centre wing, he's going to be more damaging.
1 minute 40 remaining to half-time. 47 plays 31.
Then again, you look at the scoreboard, you're 16 points up, so the plan is working.
Hawks have pushed the margin beyond 20 points a couple of times. Tigers have fought back. No one going anywhere.
I think the margin's pretty kind to the Tigers right now. I think the Tigers have worked pretty hard. They're making it a contest. And yet you look at the inside 50s, it's 26-14. And the Tigers almost look like they're intent just on being competitive at the moment, possibly with a view to...
Simmons to Nathan Brown. Had it but lost it. Didn't hold it long enough. Plays on. Sidesteps. Sizes them up. And kicks a beauty. His second.
Super goal from Nathan Brown. This move's working for Terry Wallace, Jared. Nathan Brown and Deledio are swapping between half back and half forward, and they're losing the direct players in transition. Great spoil from Grau. Went to ground. That was the key. As a defender, you've got to hold your feet. That's skill. He's a left footer. He's turned on his right and kicked the ball across his body from 50 out.
Well, he's one of the best in the business. I'll just finish that comment, possibly with a view to attacking in the second half, or even just a couple of minutes to go in the second quarter.
Terry Wallace on screen, played for both these clubs, of course. 174 games and 3 premierships for the Hawks. And coaching against them. And be happy with the scoreline right now. It's a 10-point margin, inside a minute to half-time. Kane Johnson but to McGlynn. Hands off. Mitchell. Short. Williams. Too far out to score.
Well,
lead to the pocket. Franklin.
Not quick enough, though. He charged down, but he just wasn't quick enough, and he may well have given away the free kick as well. It was really interesting watching him. He started on the wing by himself, Richo. He thought he was going to get the footy by virtue of the centre clearance, but it reversed. Then he sprinted hard, like a 100-metre sprint. Here he comes. But to no avail.
Probably the key to it too, Jared. Kelmore had to be aware that Richo was coming in front. Kelmore had to play from behind and just spoil the ball. Yeah. Don't take front position against Lance Franklin.
This is the one that bends normally back. It doesn't. It's a behind. And Franklin has had an inaccurate day.
He's a really interesting character. He bends it hard right to left when he shoots from outside 50 or on the 50, where he really brings the leg across the ball. When he's at midway, he's just got a completely different style.
He's kicked 1 goal 4 today. Richardson. 27 seconds left. Time enough for the Tigers. They've got possession. McMahon, Tuck, Johnson, Deledio. They run. Foley. 15 seconds. High. In a circle. Deledio. They need someone to take a mark up forward off this kick.
Got Brown.
Patterson dumps it inside 50. Morton comes hard with the mark to Crow, the saving mark. It's half-time at the G.
Well, they had Brown, but unfortunately Patterson had no vision. And I'm not sure giving it to the big blokes is a very wise move. They don't have the capacity generally to distribute. Williams is in the goal square, and as we just saw, Buddy Franklin's pushed up the ground.
Underway in the second half here at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, and a free already.
This is how the Tigers started in the opening bounce. First clearance.
And on cue, the man we've been talking about, Shane Tuck, with the opening free of the half to Jake King.
Shane, that's it.
Simmons.
Robbie Campbell.
Kane Johnson needs to be precise, it is.
Jared, it looks like Luke Hodge is going with Matthew Richardson on the wing now.
Tambling was short, that's ignored. Thumped long. Campbell Brown with the spoil on Deledio. Ball to the back. Birchall, nice pass, Osborne. Crawford really had to motor to get there on defensive 50.
Come out.
Umpire's barking instructions to try and keep control early. Rioli. With his players his father's played. Rioli, of course, his dad a player, and of course Uncle Morris played for the Tigers as well.
Good tackle there by Brent Guerra. Closed the space. Richo wasn't expecting the tackle, thought he was in the clear, and he held him up well.
Guerra to Mitchell, to Rioli.
Look at the speed.
Mitchell, Rioli, Ladson, back to Rioli, perhaps.
Oh, he burnt him.
He went himself. Runs to 30. and burnt a lot of them are behind.
Well, in effect, I think it was a good burn because Cyril was about to run straight into trouble. I wouldn't like to see him get it because he goes round trouble like he's been doing it all his life.
Richardson held up. One of the great Richmond father-sons. Short to McMahon.
If they can switch the ball, Chrissy Newman's just on the ground for Richmond, and he may get an easy possession here.
King.
This is a kick. Got to maintain possession.
Looks up and goes long to Morton. Front spot. Gets there. Got a hand on it. Back of the pack. Polak. Crowed right with him. Half held him. Stolen. And Delidio's kick behind.
He's had a fair game, Delidio. He rushed that one at a lot more time. In fact, the Tigers had some numbers, but all of a sudden now they're under the pump.
Michael Osborne.
It's a good kick out from fullback.
Campbell. Richardson holds him up. Pops it up. Tough ball, but tough man. Stands under it. Jordan Lewis. Crawford in the Roughhead direction. He's got good hands, Joe Roughhead.
He just gets himself balanced before the leap, and that's why he's a great overhead mark.
But the kick from Crawford, just put the ball to space, just allowed Roughhead to run at full tilt and run a jump at the ball. Just about impossible to defend that kick from Crawford.
At the moment, he is the difference. He's got 3, and the margin is virtually 3.
Spud, let me pose you a question. And it may well be a horses for courses scenario, but Tim Boyle versus Mark Williams. They've got the potential to go with 3 tools, or does that make them too heavy?
I think they've got the luxury of horses for courses, Jerry, without a cop-out. I think Mark Williams adds a different dimension to Timmy Boyle. He's like the shot out of the gun, the lead at the ball carrier, where Boyle, a little bit similar to the Roughhead mould. I'm not saying he can't play on the bench, but I think Rioli, Williams, Roughhead and Franklin are probably your 4 starting forwards, with Boyle coming on and off the ground to give those boys a spell.
20 scoring shots to 8. Campbell with the palm down. Lewis, they're away. Mitchell long. Franklin flies, can't bring it down. McMahon, stolen by Rioli. How much does he love trouble? He gives it to Franklin, who misses.
Probably lucky not to be penalised for the throw there, Cyril. I think he just squeezed it out rather than handballing it out.
Big thump from fullback. Good leap. No mark for Schultz. Delidio. Kane Johnson wants to go backwards instead of forwards. Tambling. Tuck. Schultz. Trouble. Williams.
Broke down.
Guerra. Look out! Oh, he hit Morton with an elbow. Morton's ball.
Well, fend off the don't argue. Second time tonight for Brent Guerra.
It's actually great, though, watching Hawthorn extract that ball just through sheer pressure through the middle.
Morton to Richardson. The hands are there. Is the kick going to be there?
Well, he lost Trent Crowd in transition there. Stephen Gillam was on Richardson, and that was great play from Richo. He got more leg speed than Stephen Gillam. See the don't argue.
Yeah, I'll view that during the week. Big kick this. And the hero Richardson in the Richmond pocket in front of the faithful delivers.
The question mark now, great goal from Richardson. The question mark Terry Wallace will be asking himself now is, do I
keep him up there? Keep
him at full forward? It looks like he's on a little bit of a roll with a Pollack on the wing. Or do I keep going with the rotations?
Well, they've pushed Pollack and Richo forward and to the wing a number of times. And right now, they look like they have to kick a winning score. So you'd leave Richo there. Pollack really has struggled all day. He's only had the ball in his hands twice. He's lucky, really, to be on the ground. He just hasn't had a roll. Maybe it's a chance to get Patterson off the ground and give Pollack a Guernsey in the middle and let him have a jump and run around and get some footy.
A goal apiece so far this term. From the ball up, Sewell with the one arm. Oh, somehow extracted it to Bateman. Franklin's on the move. Toe poke from Morey is spectacularly good. Rolling ball to the wing. Out of play is a win. King comes hard.
Well done, King. Really good pressure. And everybody lifts around him. See, he's getting a tap on the backside from Foley. They know that he means business. The more I look at it, the more Patterson needs a bit of a rest and get Polak in there. The Tigers got a bit of a chance right now.
Ellis back to Campbell-Brown. Takes them on with a bounce to McGlynn. Corralled by Richardson, who doesn't come at him. Deledio shutting him down.
Good pressure.
Mitchell's handball smothered by Foley. Tigers away, although Foley's handball misses the target. Taylor, Ellis.
They are brilliant through the middle
Hodge,
of the ground, the Hawks.
Crawford, back to Hodge. And now the drop punt forward. A fall. Thursfield gets back after Osmond fell over. Moore keeps his feet. Gets a Shepherd. Out of play is a win. We'll get a ball in.
It's 2 wins for Calvin Moore. His last 2 entries to Lance Franklin. He's backed himself in there, Calvin Moore. Well done. Richardson's back in the hole now. Look for Luke Hodge through the midfield.
Ball in. Patterson. Tark. McMahon. Kane Johnson. No one to go to. Only a short Matt White. First to backtrack. Central ball to King. Tough one. Read it well and almost held.
The numbers out here. It's 3-1 on the wing here if they can get the ball. But
the kick a tough one to grab. Schultz made it look okay. Hand to McGuan. He's got Richardson short, but he's way too wide. Heads longer over the head of Polak. Revolt bounces in, shows some confidence, kicks a gem. They're back.
Just on the ground, Revolt. It's a great move from Terry Wallace. He's trying to get the boys going, and just the rotations. Even though Polak's not having a great impact and Richardson pushing forward, it just creates a little bit of uncertainty for the Hawthorn defence. Is he my man? Is he your man? Revolt just on the ground, and we see Roughhead obviously in transition there. Stephen Gillham's his direct opponent. Couldn't see him on the screen, so the change came off the bench, and Stephen Gilham watching the ball allowed Revolt just to run into open space.
First goal for Jack Revolt. Not the brother of, but is related to Nick, of course. He shows his football blood with an important goal there. Important clearance coming up here. Push on Patterson, not paid. High on Bateman, not paid. Mitchell, back to Campbell-Brown. Hodge, through the midfield again there, clever Mitchell. Shrugs the tackle, back to Hodge who started it. Slips a handball wide. Birchall, Crawford, Franklin's in the pocket, in his direction. 2 fists, knock it down. Rioli, somehow through traffic. It would be a miracle. Oh, they don't come any better than that. Cyril Rioli, we love you.
I'll have to have a look at that on the replay again. There was no daylight on that kick. The Richmond defender did everything possible. As we see in the replay here, the contest from Richardson, Moore and Franklin. Rioli, great front and square, broke the tackle. There's Richmond players everywhere, and he squeezed the kick through. Oh, that's a candidate for the goal here, there, Dwayne.
Get the placards out. Down at AFL headquarters now, Hawthorn fans. He must get the NAB Rising Star nomination for this week. They've ignored him all year, and he's been the best Rising Star all year. 8-16 to 8-3.
Leuenberger played well again today, Dwayne. So did Brown for Collingwood.
What about Matthew Cruiser? Richardson caught high. No free. Birchall. Taylor. Caught. Birchall in the midfield. Collects it, and they're away again here. Lewis. Guerra to the open side.
Franklin one out.
And he's on the move now. It's longer. Roughhead. One-on-one with McGuan.
In the back.
Hands in the back.
Hands in the back there. Oh, Jared Roughhead. Just have to show a little bit of patience there. Just use his body.
2 actions though.
Yeah,
Wasn't hands in the back.
Wasn't hands in the back. It was 2 actions. One with an elbow, then the mark.
It was basically just in the back. Purely and simply in the back.
He had to sit there, Jared Roughhead. Surely he'd go the shoulders or just take the front spot.
Just hold.
Polak. Well, we know what Brett Burton would have done. There's a few people that would have gone for the big fly.
Well, with a big body like Ruffitz, he could easily have just taken the front spot.
Brown long. Little toe. Newman. Foley dives back in.
Jeez, that was a throw.
Taylor to Guerra to Birchall. This game's lifted a gear. Young. Lewis tucked into the pocket. Centering kick. No one's in the goal square. Feeding back. McGuan hands. Very good. Came off with the blood rule earlier. That's why the strapping on the head. Short. King.
Kinglet.
In the contest, that's all right. Play on.
McMahon. You heard the call in the contest. White. McMahon. Tambling. Has to motor. Does get there. Richardson calls for it long. Tambling takes them on. Runs to 60. Has a bounce.
Get it to Richo.
Tuck. Edwards. Good movement. Foley needs to be clean to Richardson. Here they come.
Great running from Matthew Richardson. That is super work rate. We saw the contest with Rioli from the last goal that Cyril Rioli kicked, and then Matthew Richardson has run the length of the ground.
Great mark there, which started it all. Spud, is it fair to say that the Tigers are playing better? Let's have a look at this little handball here, which sets it all up. Is it fair to say that Tigers are penetrating Hawthorn's zone through the middle better when they go to the wing rather than trying to go through the guts where they just all fold in on the ball carrier and generally get it back?
Now, that's a very good pickup, Jared, because it gives them space. Hawthorn defend the corridor better than most teams in the competition. But Luke Hodge, it's quite interesting. Rowan Smith, he's trying to go to Matthew Richardson, but it looks like Chris Newman is manning Luke Hodge up off the square.
Yeah, he's playing across half-back, just trying to get himself free. When Richo goes forward, though, Trent Croad sits behind and allows Richo to stay up here on the wing, and then they get through.
Need the clearance here. Almost, or not a free. Hyde played for it, didn't get it. Thursfield gets the clearance. Polak the kick. Revolt the mark.
It was only his third kick. There was a ripper from Graham Pollock.
Chips the pass. Morton, the target. Brown chips in front. Well, they lead by 13 points.
And if you only had $50 in your pocket, it was your last 50, you'd probably put it on this bloke to double it.
Slides it wide. It comes back. Closer by the second.
Well, you've doubled it, Jared.
So then we'll get 100.
Well, certainly he does. He's kicked 3 goals straight. And up the other end, you just sense the frustration in the Hawthorn coaching box at the moment. The Hawks have kicked 8 goals, 16. And they've had the 24 shots to Richmond, 10 goals, 3. And the Tigers, they're coming. They're only a point behind. Matthew Richardson coming off the ground for a spell. His work rate the last 10 minutes has been absolutely super.
So 60 seconds ago, they led by 13 inaccurate shots. 13 points. 2 goals in a row. It's a 1-point game. 8-16 to 10-3. Little flick by Simmons. Johnson. Simmons. Shoots it wide. Schultz to King. Tambling. Wants to go all the way back and does. Hyde to the open side. Newman calls for it short. In his direction. Arm slap but no free. Young. Ladson. Osborne. Hodge.
Just disappointed there for the Toys. They had to maintain possession.
Gone. Got the handball up. Williams. Mitchell. Open forward line. Osborne.
Got the numbers.
Mitchell. Franklin takes them on. Gets the shot away. Misses. Well, Lance Franklin's been the main culprit. He's kicked 1 goal, 6.
He also had McGlynn on his left there, Dwayne.
Being the left-footer, Buddy, probably he was entitled to have a bit of a shot, but the reality was Buddy Franklin and his goal kicking. He's going to win Hawthorn many, many games, and he's going to probably cost them a couple occasionally as well.
Mann in. Simmons. Tambling.
Lifted
with the one hand. Thursfield dumps it long. Morton. If he collects, they're away here. Takes on Birchall. Sends it inside 50. Shoots!
Well, that come about by the Hawthorn back half guarding some space, which allowed Morton to get free. So they just had to identify that Richmond had the ball a little bit earlier. So Birchall get back onto Morton to play a one-on-one situation.
What the kick from Morton. Was that a super ball?
Haven't been in front since they kicked behind a couple of minutes into the opening term, the Tigers. This to give them the lead. Time on third term. And 45. There's the roar. Tigers are in front.
Fantastic play there from Richmond, and it's working for Terry Wallace. If you see on the boundary line, Bateman coming off the ground with only the 7 disposals and Hyde. On comes Brad Sewell and Tuck is doing a super job. He's had the 22 disposals to Brad Sewell's 10. So where is the spark going to come from the Hawks now? Mitchell, Lewis and Hodge, a lot expected of those guys, but Young, Bateman and Sewell, they're normally the players that get their 25, 26 disposals, but well-coached Terry Wallace.
And on the boundary line, Rowan Smith, you just saw a couple of changes. Cyril Rioli on, but Chance Bateman, he's having a spell, can't find the footy tonight.
Yeah, no, certainly not, Jared, and he's sitting down. He's just getting his hammies rubbed on at the moment, but Sirioli, he's got to give him a spark, and maybe Luke Hodge going into the middle as well.
Campbell with a knockdown, but stolen by Tambling.
He's the one that's lifted for the Tigers.
Kane Johnson to Simmons. Dumps it forward. Birchall gets back.
Ooh.
Can't mark it. Gets a free.
Nathan, be very careful.
Untidy from Nathan Brown.
Free kick.
He actually dropped it before he whacked him.
Timing is everything. Hodge.
They're trying to isolate Roughhead in the goal square. Buddy's pushed right up the ground.
And Patterson's dropped back behind the play now.
Trying to set it up. McGlynn.
Jake here. Thank you. That's it.
Maybe too far out to score.
They need some help down there, Tyus. More than just one, because both Franklin and Roughhead need double teaming.
They're on the lead.
Good work.
Thursfield cut it off and takes off. On the rebound. McMahon, a little too slick to handle from King. Comes out to Hodge. High tackle.
One handball too many there.
Spears the pass to the pocket, and it's kickable for Mark Williams.
Well, that's frustrating for Terry Wallace and the Tigers. They had control of the ball. Just okay to throw it around with hands, but when you've got a long target, Rewalt was on his own out in the wing. Get it out of the danger area.
8-17. Plays 11-3. They've been inaccurate tonight. And even Mark Williams is inaccurate tonight.
Richo back on the ground after a couple of minutes spell. Here's this Nathan Brown one, and that's why he was told to be very careful, because it was a cousin of one that they'd look at.
I think it's a closer relative than that, Jared. It's a half-brother. Kicking's terrible. McGlynn. Lewis spears it to Roughhead over his head. Williams somehow.
Super talent, Mark Williams. Kick was meant for Roughhead, but just had the awareness to say, well, OK, the kick's gone over. No chance. Great effort.
When you come down to games as close as this, small differences make big differences on the scoreboard. I reckon the Tigers have had their kick-ins intercepted about 3 times, not once for Hawthorn.
He slides it through. The Hawks are back in front.
Just no need to be kicking the ball straight back under that circumstance. You've got a bit of time, unless it's a certainty. You've got to make the most of it. And there's the mark after a nice kick from Jordan Lewis.
Well, again, Thursfield was on Mark Williams, Jared, and if your direct opponent goes up, you go up. He elected to stay down, thinking Calmore and Roughhead were going to contest it. And unfortunately, his direct opponent, Williams, marks the ball. It's been good, Thursfield.
2 goals, 1 for Mark Williams. Ball back in the middle. Taylor made to Lewis. Ellis. Back to Taylor. Thumps it long. Williams held. Free kick. Oh, it's against Williams. Thursfield's ball.
The Tigers got to be careful. Taylor, who's run onto the ground, is showing a lot of freshness in the legs. And the Tiger runners, or ruckmen, have been running full time for most of the game.
Thursfield finds McWan.
Well, that free kick was just about play on for mine, Dwayne. Both players holding in that situation.
Richardson. No arm slap. He asks for it.
And he played 43% of the game so far, Taylor, and he's keen.
Bateman back on the ground, and surprise, surprise, his direct opponent, Chrissy Hyde, comes straight onto Bateman.
Hodge hurt. 2 minutes from three-quarter time. 72-69. Ball going nowhere.
Spud, would you give Chance Bateman a chop out and say, all right, you go and play in the forward pocket? So we have a look at Luke Hodge.
The Richardson elbow to the throat.
And maybe Cyril Rioli gets a run up the ground and takes Joe King into the middle.
Zool through traffic. Sorry. Spud. Mitchell to Crawford. McGuan. Oh, rough head. Down to McLean. Strolls in. Beautifully manufactured, Jared Roughhead.
Great play, Jared Roughhead. He's kicked 3 goals, 3, but that's a goal assist. I'm not sure whether it'll come up in champion data stats, but just that deft touch to Ben McGlynn, who's coming back from injury, had OP through the season. We just see the contest here, Deledio and McGlynn. Great spoil from Roughhead. Again, Deledio just spectating the ball for a split second, allows his direct opponent. We see Deledio at the front of the pack. McGlynn was allowed to get out behind and kick an easy goal. Game of inches at the moment. Got to concentrate, just about three-quarter time, a minute and a half to go. That hurts, that goal, for the Tigers.
Terry Wallace, Brian Royal, David King in the Richmond coach's box. Ball up in the middle. Free kick again. Everybody stopped.
Just going back to Deledio, Spud, there was a mistake of a normal attacker. He came in hunting the footy rather than making sure he had his man covered as well.
Well, in that part of the ground, you've got to be totally accountable.
Latson got it from Mitchell, gives it in the McGlynn direction. No free. Richardson's handball backwards. It's okay to Foley. Runs into trouble. Handball's out towards Johnson. Good commitment. Body on the line and needed to. 1 minute through three-quarter time. A tie-up, a ball up.
Oh, that's great football. McGlynn, Johnson, Tuck, throwing themselves at the ball. One-on-ones around this stoppage.
The ball up, Tuck. Deledio thumps it long. Polak under it with Gillum. Newman couldn't grab it. Polak does. Kicks it inside 50. A race on. Morton will get there. Bounces unkindly. Bounced very kindly for Trent Crowe. Crawford falls. Gives it up to Reebok. Plenty of time to size it up. Across the face.
Well, Jack Riewoldt had a shot on a snap. He ignored the bloke in the goal square. Kicked a goal 5 minutes ago. And on this occasion, on his wrong foot, he may well have spotted up Nathan Brown.
Crawford got it from Guerra. 20 seconds left on the clock. Young. McGlynn. Turnover, Tuck. Maybe not time enough for Richmond. Really needs to bang it forward quickly. He does. Morton's on the move. Arm whacked. But he won't have time to send it inside 50. Did he call time on there? The siren sound whilst we're in time on again.
You may be right there, Dwayne.
Like all good players, though, he knows where he can get a cheap stat. So unless he can kick it 95, he'll get one.
That doesn't count, though, when you kick it out on the full, does it?
Oh, that's still an ineffective, but he might get 1 point for that.
Ends up a clanger, though, unfortunately.
Deduction.
Yep.
8 points the margin at three-quarter time. Don't go anywhere. The Hawks trying to remain undefeated. The Tigers trying to remain inside the 8. Big last quarter to end a big round of footy. From the ball up. First takeaway important. Simmons gets it to half forward. Deledio inside 50. Tambling's down there. Richardson lurking. Can't grab it. Revolt, toe poke, Richo square. Got a boot on it, Joss. They get the opener.
Well, what a great start. Richo ran from the wing, and rightly so. His teammates have got the ball, but Rick Ladson had to get goal side. We just see Deledio here mark the ball. Richo on the left of screen. We see him running here. Ladson spectates the ball for a split second. It's all over for you because Richo's out the back. And again, that is great hard running from Matthew Richardson.
It was a brilliant kick from Deledio. He read it pretty well. And Matthew Richardson, as you said, he ran from the wing to get his foot on that ball and finally got a shin on it, 6 metres, 6 inches out. Well done to Jack Riewoldt too for thinking it through.
3 goals to Matthew Richardson. Simmons high in the ruck. No clearance though. Brilliant tackle. Tuck was dragged down. The ball spills. Osborne. Campbell Brown. Rioli short. Good hands. And takes off. Franklin. Richardson at one end. Lance at the other.
Class from Rioli.
Big jump from Simmons though to give them a start. That is ruck work.
Has a sidestep here of Rioli.
Lance Franklin, who's been inaccurate tonight. He's kicked 1 goal, 6.
This is his best distance though. From on the 50, he kicks right through it.
Low trajectory on the line, touch through. He's kicked 1 goal, 7.
Spuddy, you're with me on the matchup on Rioli. Jordan McMahon's had a very good game, but it's only been hurt when he's been one-on-one with Cyril, and he's just lets him loose.
I am with you, Jared. And I also agree with you, Bateman having a quiet one and give Rioli a run around the wing and put Bateman forward.
Crawford, little tap. Campbell, Rioli takes on King, loses. But the handball up to Roughhead. Foley and Crawford go at it. Crawford, another nice touch. Back to Campbell, centering kick. Osborne will fly.
So a very consistent year, Osborne. He's kicked the 1 goal, 18 disposals. Very important kick.
Possession number 19 lines up for goal number 2. Michael Osborne. 82nd game. Umpires have never ever seen him in the best 3 on the ground. Have never given him a Brownlow vote. He's been one of the better players tonight. And he kicks one of the most important goals.
He's making the most of his opportunities, Dwayne. He's kicked 2 goals straight. Lance Franklin, unfortunately, has kicked 1 goal, 7. As we see here, great pressure from Richmond, but unfortunately the ball spills. Good attack on the ball there from Crawford, just kept the ball alive. Campbell looked inboard. That's great team play. Put the ball to a dangerous spot, just set it up beautifully for Michael Osborne. Great mark, great goal. Good team goal.
Here he is, Osborne, the goal kicker. And they've made the change, Spud. Matt White.
Well, McMahon went straight to the bench. Rowan Smith, is he on the phone?
Yeah, he went straight to the telephone, boys, and very, very disappointed. Terry Wallace would have been to let Rioli just get off and not be able to punch that ball before when he delivered the ball into Franklin.
Tuck, good tackle on Sewell. Jordan McMahon having a rest.
Give me room out the back.
Brian Royal biting the fingernails. It's that kind of game. Good bounce. Campbell and Simmons. Foley straight up in the air. Doesn't attempt to mark his own ball. Tries to crumb it though. King by Johnson. Tuck. Newman. Corralled by Crawford. Off falls. He's gone. Dead. Shane Crawford. Pushes it off to Hodge.
Again, they'll have to square the ball up because Matthew Richardson's pushed back in the hole for Richmond.
Osborne to Guerra. Back to Gillum. Guerra. Franklin's calling for an inside 50. He's in position A. Good fist. Well played by Kelvin Moore. Richardson tackled, dragged down, got it out. Foley. Nathan Brown. Johnson. Simmons. You sense this could be a season-changing game for the Tigers. King dragged down 2 times and no 50. Umpire says the whistle wasn't heard. Tambling spoils it down, lays the tackle. They are giving it everything, these two teams. They'll get a ball up.
Brilliant coaching not to give away the 50-metre penalty there. It was from an experienced umpire, and he just had the feel for the game. Brett Searle was in absolute top gear chasing.
Attack mode.
He was, and it was smart play by the umpire.
Edwards. Umpire says a throw. Hawthorn 3. Campbell Brown.
If that had been applied to the Troy Simmons one, then we'd be a lot happy campers.
Guerrera. Crowd. Got Guerrera on again.
This is the price that Richmond pay for having blokes back, so they've got to win it across the half-back line.
Osborne. Grabbed by Delidio. Shoots it back. Campbell Brown. Osborne. He can run in. Chips the pass. Williams. He left it behind. Gets it again. Mops up his own mess. And can't make it sparkle. Behind.
Done good chase. Trying to pick up who it was.
Morton. Richardson. A wobbler. Tough one for Delidio. Fist is good though. Thumps it down. Guerra. Ellis. Brown. And go all the way back inside defensive 50. Gillum. Pass. King with the spoil on McLean. Hodge the crumb. Hunted down by Tambling. Gets it back. Crowd. Birchall dropped it. Oh, the umpire blew the whistle. And then you play on. Everybody stopped. Didn't know what to do. Long thump. Franklin. Hands on it. Can't mark it. Hits the deck. McGuan. Morton. White. And now Richardson gets there. Delidio needs to hit a target with this ball. It's long. Brown flies but can't mark it. Can't keep it alive, but that's almost a win.
It's a huge win. Delidio looked out. Brown was 2-on-1. If he had tried to centre the ball, Hawthorn would have gained possession and ran it through the middle. Great kick.
Short throw in. Well, after last week, where there was the controversial ball up, which wasn't recalled, we have a boundary throw in recalled. Ruckman tie up. Nathan Brown dragged down. Edwards. Gang tackled.
Into him in the tackle.
Going nowhere.
Jared, I'm looking at Shane Tuck and Brad Sewell. Sewell's had 11, Tuck 25.
Yep.
It's time Sewell turned into the hunter.
I think he may have. I just saw him there, just making sure that Tuck didn't get near the footy.
Pollack to Thursfield. McMahon. Schultz. Hacks it inside 50. Richardson's half held. Flies and can't grab it.
He's got it.
He got the free. He was held 3 times.
Well picked up, Grant.
Arm around him, took him to the ground.
I'm sure where the initial free kick was there, but when they went to ground, there's no doubt Crowd drove him into the ground after the marking contest.
The king of Richmond gives them life.
Well, 4 goals to Matthew Richardson. 4 goals, 1. If we just have a look at the replay here. Just after the initial contest. See Matty there with the glove on the left hand. Not sure whether that was there in the first 3 quarters.
Yeah, I think it was, but it looks a new glove.
It looks a cleaner one. But he's kicked the 4 goals, 1. And up the other end of the ground, you've got Roughhead, Williams and Franklin kicking 6 goals, 13 between them.
So what you're saying, Spud, all that work you did with him in the goal kicking, all you needed to do was get him a new glove. It's a funny game, this.
It is. 4-1. Not only that, he's had the 25 disposals, 12 marks. His work rate has been first class.
5 points to margin. Hodge goes in hard. Tambling just as hard. There was a boot. No free.
He was taking the ground. Fine. He was taking the ground. No, I didn't think he did.
Pretty close to kicking in danger, this one. In fact, it was. Because you've got to get your hand broken to get a free kick, it seems.
Lewis decided to dive in.
Put his head down and they both grabbed the ball. That's
There's
my
your
ball.
explanation.
Bang it
He
up.
ducked into it. Umpire's trying to waste no time now. Different rules all of a sudden in the game. They're not bouncing it for some reason. Mitchell sends it inside 50. Franklin, one grab, not the second. Here he is again, Rioli. He's a gem.
You bet you wish this broke one. It is front and square play at its absolute finest. Great contest between Franklin and Moore. You just see good play from King. It just lost sight of him at the last minute, but Cyril Rioli take a bow. Just see King try and push him off the line, but then Rioli's just obviously very strong through the legs, held his line, got in the correct spot. Great snap on the left.
Uncle Morris, a two-time Richmond best and fairest winner. 93-82. Both ruckmen go at it, get a touch on it, and Luke Hodges' ball.
Reckon spud over the next 7 days, or next round, we're going to see a spate of free kicks paid against blokes off the ball. There's been so much focus on it with Gary Ablett starting over the weekend.
Hodge to Ladson.
Daniel Kerr last night.
Daniel Kerr.
Play on.
Young.
That's it, Jack. There, thank you.
Had their measure all night, the Hawks. It's always been only just.
1 metre.
Hodge again. It's still only just 10 minutes from time.
Wait, no, when he's wide, he's okay.
They may have to change their style here in a minute, Richmond, and just go man on man to try and win this game, because otherwise the Hawks can just play dead ball.
Brown, long, rough head, flies back of the pack. Kane Johnson to mop up. King can rush it behind. Simmons
He tried that a couple of weeks ago.
takes them on, succeeds. McWan. Kane Johnson forced to stop. Reach. They're tired. Tambling.
Well played.
Have they got another roll of the dice yet? Nathan Brown, McMahon, McWan.
Good
Free man is Reebok. He can go. Falls for him and he goes. Inside 50, a wobbler. Morton runs to 45. Has a roll of the dice. And it's come up 6.
They heard your call, Jared. Take the game on. Try and kick a winning score. He's been very impressive, Morton. He's been allowed that space on that half-forward line. You see again, Bateman comes off Morton. Didn't quite impact the contest the way he wanted, and there was the opponent he ran off,
Yep.
Bateman Morton. So
He did the right thing, Bateman. He just
did.
missed the punch. It was a glancing blow rather than a big one. He's a good kick. We saw him spear that one in the third quarter on his left foot to set up a goal. And this time he runs onto his right foot, his natural foot. Bang, yeah, get your hand in the air, mate, young man. You've done well.
(12:21 to 14-4). Taylor dragged down by Patterson. Didn't have it. Newman grabs Mitchell high. Ton of time, 9 minutes. Quick hands. Spearing pass. Second grab, not paid. Kelvin Moore, magnificent tackle, holding the ball. Play on advantage. Newman dives and marks.
Good call, thanks for help.
93, plays 88. Kane Johnson, Jordan McMahon.
Oh,
Danger here, Thursfield wrapped up. He's got it. Mitchell gets it out. Sewell. Crawford dances past McMahon. Shoots it back to Mitchell. Needs to hit the target. McGlynn dropped it. Picks it up to mop up his own mess. Misses.
great pressure from Jake King. Just found a way.
(94 to 88). Still anyone's game. King. Goal the difference. Deledia. He's got Richardson long and wide. Richo slipped. Almost marked it still. Ladson. Great play by Tuck. Dived in, made it tough. Bateman hands it up. Ellis to Sewell. Morton read it well. Ties him up. Holds him up. Or he's ridden into the ground. Holding the ball perhaps. No.
No chance. Good tackle.
Well, the Tigers are going to win, Spud. They're going to have every player running, gut running right now. And there's a couple with their hands on their hips. Only need one or two to let you down, and you'll get steamrolled.
Hodge. Can't break free. Tackle not rewarded. White. Deledio gets it regardless. Tambling. Through traffic. Deledio. Tark. Hacks it forward. Bateman sits under it. Good spoil by Hyde. Thumped it from his hands. Taylor. Morton. Misses the target. Hodge. Mitchell left it behind. Nathan Brown. He's brought down by Bateman. Still not holding the ball. Hyde. They're spent, these boys. They got nothing left.
Great football.
Brown dumped. Bateman dumped. Still alive. Lewis to Ladson from the wing. Takes them on. Hodge. Ladson. Bouncing ball. If it sits, is away. He's away. Franklin calls it long. It's short. Roughhead.
Good option. That was a great option from Ladson because he looked up and Matthew Richardson was double teaming Lance Franklin. And then just Ladson had the awareness to say, okay, where's the one-on-one? Identify it. Here he is, Roughhead on the lead on first field.
He's kicked 3 goals, 1 in each quarter. He's still got 1 in each quarter. He's kicked 4.
Good play there from the Hawks. You just sense the steadier. They've been able to get the steadier. The Tigers have been super brave.
She's on tired just watching that last 5 minutes of play. It was, it's absolutely brilliant from the Tigers. They had that one. It just needed a little break. There's a couple of slips. But then the recovery from Hawthorn shows why they are the most likely side to challenge the boys from Cardinia Park at the moment. They just had, I reckon, a little bit more in reserve. Spud there. Red zone is just a little bit bigger than Richmond's at the moment. And when the Richmond players are running on fumes, the Hawks just had that capacity to keep running a bit longer for a little bit, a bit stronger for a bit longer.
You see White on the bench there. That was the resultant tackle. Injured on the bench there.
Richmond's kicked more goals, but they're behind by 2 goals, if you can believe that. Crawford thumps it out. Campbell dives in. It's out. Tuck. Caught. Manufactured a kick, but it found Mitchell.
Too good.
Short. Here he is again.
Too good,
He's been
Mitchell.
the difference, Roughhead.
Well, Mitchell was good, and young Firstfield also was caught in the pack, and Roughhead just had the awareness to run into space. He's been brave, Will Firstfield, but he'll learn a hell of a lot from this game of football.
He hasn't been the understudy tonight. He's been the main man. Roughhead has 5, and they can taste it now.
It's great for his confidence, Jared Roughhead. There's been a lot of spotlight on, obviously, Lance Franklin. You see the 2 boys there on the screen over the first 5 weeks, but this will do a lot of confidence, not only for him, for his teammates. It's okay, Lance Franklin, he's still kicked the 1 goal 7, but when you get Jared Roughhead, he's offsider, kicking 5 goals 3. It's a great weapon for Alistair Clarkson to have.
Jump at the footy. Don't go early, Robbie.
3 goals now. 5 minutes, maybe. Quick palm down to Sewell. Thumps it long. Franklin. Not quite. Williams. Firstfield. Shoots it up towards Tuck. The one little give. McMahon knocked off it. Tuck almost high. No free on Osman. Yes, there is.
In the back line. I apologise to Will Firstfield a minute ago. He's Jared Roughhead's direct opponent was Luke McGuan.
Play back on your line. Play on! Play on!
Rioli. Back to Young. Missed it.
Ah, well, that's it. Won't get the nomination now.
Bateman slips it to Franklin. Can't mark again. Tigers with the numbers. They're not dead yet. Polak. Bateman! Big grab. Big time to take it. Franklin's hurt. Gillum. Crow. Birchall. Osborne. Richmond flooding back. Hawthorn players free. Franklin coming off. Spearing pass to the pocket. Campbell Brown. Well, the score would be important, but just as important, he can take 30 seconds off the clock. Here's the Franklin injury. The shoulder.
Looked innocuous, but he's holding the shoulder with the tape on it, Dwayne.
Any score handy here. Campbell Brown lines up. Short. Richardson, use of the body, illegal. By Rioli on Richardson. The 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Richo gets the free. 3 minutes from time.
Ben! That's it, Ben!
3 goals, 3 minutes. The equation. Short, dangerous.
Aussie! Aussie! Oh.
Moore to McMahon. Ignores Richardson, goes toward Brown, over his head.
Play on!
Edwards, the open side. Nathan Brown, good fist from Hodge. Crawford tried to find the boundary and missed it. Tambling half held, fully held, gets the free. We're going to fight this one to the death, the Tigers.
Richard, back on your mark!
All the way back to Moore. The open side. McGuan. Richardson peels off. Young's with him. Richo, spectacular. He's away. Looks up. He might go the journey. Goes to the pocket. Morton's been good. Doesn't know how long left. But he knows there's still a chance if he nails this one.
Great play by Richo. He's had a big game.
Play on!
Plays on. Short. Delidio.
That's it there. Yeah, it could be there. Yeah, I'm right here.
Hawthorn midfielders half asleep there, still zoning off, and allowed Delidio to take an easy mark, 40 metres out from goal.
All they can see is that there's 26 minutes elapsed on the clock. They don't know we're inside 2 minutes from time. This to keep them in with a hope. It's there. They're going to fight it right out.
They've been brave, the Tigers. And it's that man, Matthew Richardson. Have a look at the grab there on Clinton Young. Just great strength, great mobility, but more importantly, good finish. Put the ball out in space. 27 disposals to Matthew. 13 marks, 4 goals, 1.
Well, irrespective of this result, we've found a little bit more out about the Hawks. They've been challenged. They hurt themselves with their inaccuracy, but when challenged by Richmond, they've been able to fight back a couple of times. They lost the lead. They did it without Buddy Franklin having any real impact on the game. As we have another look at what happened. Did he get a whack in the stomach? Not at all.
Jared, when he came to the bench, they were checking out his right shoulder, the one that was taped, as Spud mentioned, so but he looks okay.
12 points to margin, 90 seconds left. The takeaway crucial here. Crawford slides it back. Hodge, Ladson, Lewis, Osborne. Seconds tick by. Wide ball, perfect ball, Williams. Even the behind would mean victory here. The best they could possibly hope for, the Tigers, would be a draw. Short pass. Good fist.
Great fist.
King. Tuck. McMahon. Newman. Needs to find a free man, and quickly. Delidio. Backwards. They need to go forwards. Simmons. Hyde.
We found out a bit about the Tigers as well, Spud. This club has almost been reborn over the last 3 weeks. This is a really impressive performance, albeit they won't get the points, but it's a really impressive performance.
Well, he's finally got the
50.
He's got the 50. Terry Walsh has got the chemistry in there competing, Jared. The contested possessions, Hawthorn have been super all year. Richmond have had 114 to Richmond's 99, so that's a huge confidence booster, knowing you can out-contest the side such as Hawthorn with Hodge, Mitchell, Sewell.
Need a mark from this kick. Deledio sends it wide. Richardson's lurking. Good fist from Hodge. Pumps it out of play. 2 goals, 28 seconds.
All week we've been talking about the athleticism of Lance Franklin, and we forget old father time Matthew Richardson. It's been a super game.
46,076 fans here. None have left their seats. They're going to see it through to the end. Revolt threads the handball through. Tuck tries to trap it. Lewis, Bateman, they've got it. Mitchell sends it long.
Super last quarter, Mitchell.
Birchall can run the whole way. Siren beats him. Doesn't get the kick away. The Hawks have won a ripper here at the G to end the Anzac Day round. It lived up to all expectations. The resurrection of the Richmond Football Club. And the undefeated Hawks. They kicked more goals, the Tigers, but lost the game by 2, 14-22 to 15-4.